Good afternoon. Welcome back to Real Talk with Just for Girlfriends. The world is opening up, and I'm sure if you're like me, you're ready to get back outside. So, this show is right on time. We're here to help you plan the perfect vacation regardless of how and where you want to go. We have guests today that have done it, are experts in it, and they're going to share their tips with all of us. I have my pen and paper ready. Um, but before we jump right into it, I want to introduce ourselves. So, for all of our new viewers, I am Michelle Skinner, and I have been a member of Just for Girlfriends almost 4 years now. I also serve on the board of directors and I manage all of Just for Girlfriends social media sites. And you'll see our handle scrolling along the bottom of the screen. Please join us on social media. We will have conversations like this and more. Robin, please introduce yourself.
Yes, happy afternoon, everybody. I'm Robin Mcfarlane. I'm a board of on the board of directors for Just for Girlfriends, and its very first official member. Also, my claim to fame, and so I'm ready to get back out too. Out the streets are calling my name. So,
Absolutely.
or the plane, or whatever train, whatever it is, calling my name. So I'm ready.
Absolutely. Angelique, please.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. It is so glad, so nice to be able to talk about getting back out there. Hello from NYC. That might be another trip too. So, my name is Angelique David. I am the founder and CEO of Just for Girlfriends. For all of our new viewers out there who might not be familiar with Just for Girlfriends, our mission is based on the idea that women are often so busy taking care of everyone and everything that we forget to take care of ourselves. So at Just for Girlfriends, what we do is we provide amazing, unique, engaging experiences for women to just come out, take off all your hats and have fun. And guess what? We always do a big annual trip. Again, something you might not do. So this year, we are going to a luxury dude ranch, not just your normal, a luxury dude ranch with
Mhm.
a big home, a spa, every house comes with a car, etc. So I'm excited about this. And like all of my ladies here, I am ready to get it. I think I've got like 5 flights booked just to go somewhere. So I'm quick to
Yes.
book a flight.
We are ready to do this. Well, like I mentioned, we have some special guests. We have three guests, as a matter of fact, who are here to provide their own tips and tricks for planning the perfect getaway. So let's meet them now. We are joined by Jen Lee. Hi,
Hi,
Jen.
Jen.
She's
Hi.
a longtime friend of Just for Girlfriends, always supporting us, and we love her for that. But in addition to that, Jen is an avid world traveler, let me tell you. We're so happy she can join us today. So, Jen, please briefly introduce yourself.
Well, it's funny. It says Jennifer Lee Fisk. So my name is Jennifer Lee. I went to Fisk University for undergrad and graduate school, since that's my moniker today. Michelle is also my sorority sister. I like to throw it out there. Ooh,
Good.
can't ooh because I'm hoarse because I did just get back in the country. I went to Toronto for a girls' weekend. Speaking of girls' trips, what else? I have 2 kids. I work for a biotech company in sales, and I feel like my life is complete when I'm on an airplane. So
I
Yeah.
love that motto. I love it. So, next we are joined by Wanda. Let's bring Wanda out. So Wanda is a member of Just for Girlfriends, but in addition to being a member, she has a wanderlust. Don't let her fool you. And her travel photos are amazing. She's going to give us some ideas of where and when to travel. Wanda, please introduce yourself to the audience. You're on mute, Wanda. I'm sorry. Did you mute yourself?
Sorry.
There you go.
We've been doing that for about 2 years now.
I am Wanda Miller. I am the mother of 3 beautiful adults. I find myself as an empty nester at this time in my life, and therefore I am always on the go.
Yep.
I love it. Well, after this pandemic, I guess I can say after. I'm a little hesitant to say after, but we were all shut down on lockdown for some time. it looks like, people are getting back out there in a big way. So I want to start with Jen. Because, girl, I see and I read your travel posts on Facebook, and I am jealous. So, one thing that I have learned is that you love to travel solo. Can you tell us why that is?
Well, I also do group trips, but what I found with a solo trip is that it's all about me. So, I'm the youngest of five. I'm a Leo, so of course I'm a little spoiled. But what I like about solo trips is that number one, again, it's all about me. But then number two, you really find yourself getting some of your best thinking, digging deep into yourself, and really you gain so much strength from the experiences of traveling solo. You just would not believe, especially depending on where you're going, some of the things that you may encounter. And I think what Americans always forget is how spoiled we are. And when you travel around the world, you see, how other people live, and as a result, you learn so much about yourself and others. So that's one of the main reasons I like to travel solo. It's just easier than, hey Michelle, where are you going? When are you free? Da, 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 da. That's too much. That's too
Right.
much.
You're cutting out a lot in the planning process. That can be frustrating trying to organize, especially grown people. Everybody has something going on, so I can see how that would be a benefit.
What's your favorite solo trip you've taken?
So I got angry with my son. If anybody has a teenage son, my son is 21 now. Praise the Lord, we're past it. But as a teenager, he was dreadful. I mean, just the worst. And I had gotten laid off. And when you get laid off, sometimes you get a big severance check. And I was like, I did not get laid off to be home with this child. Like, he is unpleasant. And I literally booked a trip to Tanzania for 2 weeks, and I didn't know what I was going to do. I just booked the flight, and then I booked a hotel for 3 days, and then I said, okay. So I had 2 weeks from my departure to figure out what I was going to do and where I was going to stay for the remainder of the trip. So that has been my favorite, and I would say I think it's probably my favorite African country because I was there by myself.
That's
Okay.
amazing, and
That's
that's
amazing.
Amazing.
yeah.
Hey,
So,
I see Marjorie is watching from Austin, Texas. I was in Austin last week, stayed in
Me too. I wish I
Georgetown.
had known you were there. I was there last week too.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
yes, I was. So we have a J4G member in Austin, Marjorie. So, and then someone asked, how do you become a member of this group? You go to justforgirlfriends.com, which is scrolling across the bottom, and click join now. And it is really that simple. But yes, we have a member in Austin.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Jen, what precautions do you take in traveling by yourself especially as a female, as a
Oh
woman?
yeah. So I do so this is the thing that my friends hate about me and why I don't like to travel with them, because they ask that type of question. Well, what are we gonna do? Who's gonna blah, 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 blah. So I book the trip and then I figure all of that stuff out. And so for example, I'm going on a solo trip. I probably do one or two per year. I'm going on one for Memorial Day. So the first thing I Google is it safe for me to go to this country by myself? You really can't base it on the State Department, because the State Department is going to say no place in the world is safe. And I'm like, what place in the world other than
Yeah.
that you right now? And in Chicago has 50 shootings per weekend. No, no place in the world. And so when people say, "Oh, is it safe?" What's Chicago isn't safe. I don't feel safe here. So, but in addition to that, so depending on where I'm going, I will hire a guide and a driver. So when I went to Tanzania, I had a girlfriend who had been there already, and I hired someone to drive me. Sorry, I got a package coming. I had a driver to pick me up from the airport and to drive me. And so, where do you get those people from? Travel groups, recommendations. And so, whenever we go out of town, right, if we hire people like that, people will go into travel groups and post, "Oh, I just came back from so and so. This is who I used." And so, those are the people I start with.
Okay.
I don't use travel agents because I travel so much that they're just not cost effective. Like they're going to upcharge you on every single thing that they do. I want to plan my own itinerary. I can go to TripAdvisor, Viator, pick out my own tours, or I can hire a guide. So what I did for Tanzania, I had a lady who lived in Tanzania half the year and New York City half the year. And I said, I only have a hotel for 3 days, figure the rest out. And so this is a question I also don't answer. What's your budget? Don't you worry about my budget. Tell me what you want to put together, and I will tell you if it's good enough or not. And so she came back with a price. I was like, nope, that's too much. I'm a sales rep, so I am a sales rep, and I'm going to negotiate everything. So it's already know in my head. Like this is another thing we have to remember is that in a lot of these countries are poor. So a 5-star hotel is $40 to $100 a night. So why am I giving you $4,000 for a trip to, let's say, Egypt? Egypt is dirt poor, y'all. Go to Egypt. So your flight, now I'm gonna tell you flight out. Your flight is gonna be $1,000. Wherever you go in the world, your flight is gonna be $1,000. But once you get there, you're rich. So go. And I'm not talking American rich. I'm talking Kardashian rich. Go there and be Kardashian instead of going to Jamaica, where you're gonna spend $3,000 on some all-inclusive resort. You can go to Egypt and look at the pharaoh and spend $2,000 and ride a camel. And I mean, it's right. A level
and open your horizons. Yeah.
And so, but in Egypt, I did again. So some places are not safe for women by themselves. Muslim countries. Egypt is a Muslim country. Egypt is also a very poor country, and so they're not used to saying Black women. You walk around, they're like, "Hey, brown sugar, hey, brown sugar." The men are on you. The women are begging you for money, and I'm the type of person where if a woman asks me for some money, I'm giving it to her. The first time I gave a lady some money, now my car is surrounded by 60 women.
Wow.
So that's why you need a driver, because the driver was like, "Jennifer, I told you nothing." I was like, "Look, she's a lady, she's a Black lady. I got to give her some." But anyway, so I hire drivers and guides, and you can find all of that information in travel groups or from somebody like me who's already been.
Yeah. And so you're not fully you're a solo trip, but you're connecting once you're there. So you're not out by yourself all the time, let's say. So you're connecting with groups, drivers, that sort of thing.
Like, so in European, Western countries, European countries, I feel very comfortable being by myself. Or like I was in Toronto for 36 hours by myself. So it just depends on where it is. Am I going to roll to Africa by myself? No. No, I'm not.
Okay.
So our guest that'll be on a little later is a travel agent, and I think she's going to be able to tell us that not all travel agents upcharge. So there are different travel agents that do different things. I see you twisting your lips. We're going to get her on in a minute.
Yeah.
Also, I wanted to point out, Shireen, you're in DC. We have a DC J4G chapter for the DMV area. We have about 30 members there. Wow. So please join. We do live events in the DMV area now. So we'd love to see you at an event.
Awesome. Well, I want to get Wanda in this conversation. Wanda, from your travel photos, it looks like you love adventure. What has been your favorite getaway so far?
She may have frozen out.
There you go. It was frozen. I don't know what happened.
Did you hear the question?
No, I'm sorry, I didn't.
Okay, I was saying, what has been your favorite getaway? It seems like you love adventure. So what has been your favorite so far?
I would say Barbados, because it was my official first solo trip. My first solo, I had a day in Italy by myself, and that wasn't planned. That's a different story, but I figured it out. But I would say Barbados because I planned it myself. I met people there when I was there, and I really did a lot of soul searching, like with myself, and journaling and just things, trying to figure it out. I think a lot of people say to me, or I hear a lot, like Jennifer saying, there's different groups you can follow. I do a lot of YouTube and things, and a lot of people are very, very fearful of traveling on their own, and it is completely empowering. Once you do it, you kind of learn what you're made of, and you kind of learn to roll with the punches. And if you're the kind of person, if you're traveling with other people, and sometimes other people are like, oh, well, this fell through, and that ruins the whole trip. And I've spent too much money to do what I want to do to be dissatisfied with someone else's, disappointment. So yeah, I would say Barbados for me.
Okay, awesome.
Great. Great. And then I'm hearing a lot about reflecting, right? So are you doing these trips because you want to be alone and reflect? Did it start that way, or are you just doing them because I like to travel by myself? And right, like, so how does that come into play?
I didn't realize how much I like to travel by myself until I started having people come with me that were just their pace is different than mine.
Oh, okay.
But for me, I was doing a lot of, I've had a lot of change that's happened in my life recently. And my sisters and my mom were supposed to go with me to Barbados, and they couldn't make it. And it was for my birthday. Well, I wasn't going to, give that up.
Yeah.
And so I went ahead and went. And like I said, it was it was the best time, because I think a lot of times, and I was talking to my nieces the other weekend about this, people are afraid, like, well, what are we going to do if we're by ourselves, we don't, or we're going to get lonely. And I take my friends, with me on vacation. My friends are my beats, because I create an environment for myself. I take my candles or scents. So wherever I go, I'm creating a space for myself that's going to give me good energy. I eat good food. I'm normally out in nature somehow. And so, and I will write, but I found that that's really so, it changes me, and I'm better for it. So I'm really beginning to like that a lot more.
You scared me for a minute, Wanda. I was like, your friends, what she get ready to say?
I was listening intently. I got it.
I love it, because there's all kind of trips. We titled this Who and Where, because you have the trips with your spouse, you have girlfriend trips, you have family trips, and now you got solo trips. So I think each type of travel creates a different environment.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a question for both Jen and Wanda. Either or both of you can answer this. But what is the best piece of travel advice you've received?
I would say go. Like, just go. Like, I find that I find that people are so afraid to just go. So the first thing is just buy your plane ticket. Now you're kind of forced to go.
Yeah.
And then all of those details, and I've been trying to get my friends to buy into my philosophy of, once we don't have to have the whole thing planned out before we buy the plane ticket.
Yeah.
Just buy the plane ticket, and then we can figure out all this other stuff, right? Yeah. And so the world is such a big place, and I really plan on seeing all of it, like as much of it as I can. And I don't want to wait till I'm 70 to say, oh, like I want to take my mother to Israel, and now she's 81, and she said she feels like she's too old to go, like she's missed her time, and she'll just look at my pictures, and it just makes me so sad. Because I know my mother knows the Bible. I'm gonna go over there and be like, what's this? I don't know. I mean, what is this? Why is this important? Versus, she'll be able to say, oh, Jesus did da, 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 da.
Yeah.
And so don't wait, and don't think that it's as much money as you think it is, because it's really not. Like, $2,000 can get you almost anywhere in the world if you plan it yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got 3,000.
I'm Kardashian rich, huh? I'm Kardashian rich for 3,000.
There's a commercial that's playing right now that really resonated with me. It says, if anyone's seen the commercial, it says, you will never, at the end of your day, you will never say you wish you purchased something.
More stuff.
You wish
more
you
things. Yeah.
I just saw that last night. I just saw that commercial last
And
night.
that's so
beautiful.
True. That is so true. Yeah. You're definitely not going to be thinking about work and what you did for work.
And you're not going to be thinking, I wish I had that Louis bag. I should have bought that.
Exactly. And I've had people ask me, well, how do you travel so much? And I'll say, I look at them, I don't buy a lot of fancy purses. And I'll say, well, that purse right there is a flight to Italy in the summertime. Now, a summertime flight is $1,000. We can go right now for about 500. I'm like, there go your flight to Italy right there. And it's
Right.
this Louboutin bag that I want is $2,600. That is my trip to Kenya in October. I can't have it. So
Right.
everybody chooses
Yeah.
their thing.
Choose.
Yeah.
I could choose to have it, but then I won't. I really try to take as many trips as I can.
I
So,
was
Yeah.
gonna add to that. For me, right now in my life, it's all about experiences. And
Mm.
I don't need stuff, and I'm not saying that stuff is bad. I like stuff, but it's just more about experiences. And to that point, what you were saying, Angelique, about the commercial, it's like we already, we have an abundance of things. And the experiences, no one can take that from you. And that's what you're going to be, sitting with. And Jennifer is talking about her mom. I don't want to be 70 years old or, 60 years old, waiting to travel, because that's not promised. Let's do it now. Let's
True.
go.
That's true.
That
That is true.
that's
Yeah,
really our
one bad health
motto.
episode and you're not able to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's our model at J4G is
Mhm. Yes.
experiences,
Yeah.
which is why all of our events are all some new, different experience that you might not be able to have somewhere else.
yeah, the Dude Ranch sounds interesting.
Oh my goodness, it's
You
gonna be
should
great.
join
And
us.
And
You
it's
should join
during
us.
James Beard weekend. So we're
Oh
gonna be
yeah, I
eating
forgot
some
to
good
say that.
food.
Yeah, eat good, right?
Nice.
I'm meeting some chefs. Yeah, I can't wait to take some pictures with my
We do
favorite
like
chefs
to
if
eat
they're
in
there.
J4G too.
Can I ask people add one more thing? So I know you asked about most advice. I really kind of just do my thing. And I know that Jennifer likes to just kind of go as she does. One thing I do is I have this little travel journal,
Okay.
and it says Adventure Time. You can get them, anywhere. But the reason I have this, not that I plan things out, but I may hear Michelle may say, Michelle just came back. I just saw your pictures, girl. You just came back from a fabulous trip, and she might mention that she had dinner at a particular restaurant down in Miami,
Oh,
or someone, Angelique was just in Austin, and they've got great food there. So I just jot little things down, places to go, and so that way when I'm building my own itinerary, I have some things to go back and look at.
that's a great
Great
idea.
Great
idea.
idea.
Yeah,
Guess
that's a
where
great idea.
else you can
So
do that? That's a lot easier. Facebook. Once you land in the city, it'll say you can click on places
Yeah.
that your friends have visited if they checked in, and
okay.
and it'll list all
See
of
what
those.
they said. I didn't know about that feature. That's awesome.
You know I'm a junkie.
I know. So we have been talking about things. What can't you travel without? Like what must you pack in your bag when you're traveling?
Um, well,
We heard you, your
my
beats
my
there.
beats,
Right. I heard that.
you
They
know,
go everywhere,
they
right?
go everywhere. Yeah.
I would say for me, I have a large iPad, and I use it. I download all of my movies. So even if the flight has movies, I still have stuff on there. But you'll find that in most locales, the TVs are. I mean, if they have a TV, it may not be in English or whatever. So that's what I use to kind of put myself to sleep every night is whatever I've downloaded on my iPad to watch. So my big iPad is going everywhere with me.
Gotcha. And how are you all packing, right? Because I always say I can go somewhere. If somebody tells me we need to go, I can be ready in 20 minutes, right? So I'm a fairly light packer. So how are you all packing? Like a book bag and a duffel bag? Like what's going on? So I'm seeing faces. So
I'll let Jennifer answer first because I think
Okay.
she's got more than me.
Okay.
Yeah, I wish that I could tell you. So when I got to Tanzania, I stayed in the main city for 3 days, and then I took a ferry to Zanzibar. But before going to Zanzibar, I went to this other little place called Nungwi Beach. Now, remember, I told you I don't really read anything. I kind of read when I get there. I told this lady what I wanted to do, and she picked it. So I'm on a dirt road with cows, bicycles, huts, and people, and I have two big A suitcases
Oh, so
with
you packing everything.
stilettos. I felt so dumb because no one in Tanzania, most of the people don't even have shoes. They
Yep.
definitely didn't have shoes in Nungwi Beach.
Right.
And so I ended up giving away most of my shoes because I just felt terrible that these women, didn't have shoes. So that taught me to at least kind of. So now I pare it down. I'll say that
Okay.
I'm not taking 8 pairs of shoes. I'm super girly, so I'm probably still taking 5. I am an overpacker. I have to.
Okay, so you're overpaid.
You're
Okay, so
Figure it
so
overpacker.
out.
you're checking bags. You are definitely checking
And what's
bags.
crazy is they lost my luggage on New Year's Eve, and y'all.
See, I'm always scared they're gonna lose my
Yes,
luggage.
and
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did not get it until 36 hours before I was supposed to come home.
Oh
Oh,
man.
yeah.
So for me, first of all, I use packing cubes.
Mm.
Packing cubes will save your life because you can roll and pack. And I like when I get to a place when I can take my things out and they're orderly. I know that my swimsuits are in this cube. I know that my shorts are in another cube.
Mhm.
So that also helps with space. I have rules for myself about travel because I travel with by myself, not a significant other. And so especially during COVID, I didn't want to check anything in. That was part of my COVID rule, is that I didn't want to check anything in. I wanted to touch it, have them myself. And so it has to be something that I can easily move about with. So I have really cute luggage because I love that. But it's the overhead piece that I can put in and something underneath my seat, the seat in front of me. And I've been able to get a week's worth of
Wow.
travel out of that.
Yeah.
That's gonna
Yeah.
be another episode because I'm like
Yeah.
Jen. My suitcases are big, and
I mean,
I do
toilet
the travel
paper
cubes, but
is
I overpack, I believe. So I
Yeah.
would love to see. In fact, I never carry on. For one, I don't want to be struggling trying to get that thing up there because I got too much stuff. So we're
Yeah.
gonna have another show all packed
So
up.
Yeah, an older woman told me one. She was like, "So this was her advice, older woman. So when your man say, 'Let's get on a flight,' have your passport ready and be ready to go in 20 minutes." And it stuck with me. She told me that at like 16, and I was like,
And so
okay.
you ready.
And
Yeah.
so I think I did Paris for 10 days with a carry-on and Lisbon for 8 days with a carry-on. Black pants will take you a long way too. Let me say that. Black pants and tank top.
And you might want to buy a little something, so you got to have a little space. I mean, although you can
Yeah.
ship things and stuff.
Yeah, but that was her advice to me. And I've been married forever at this point, but that was her advice to me. She was like, be ready 20 minutes, Robin. And I was like, all right, I'm ready.
And I
Right?
will tell you, I have traveled with Michelle for 20 plus years, and half of her luggage is empty. So Michelle does not pack that luggage. It'd be like
Michelle
one
packed a
layer.
car on us. Michelle had 2 large bags at one trip we went on.
But they're not appropriately
They're not
packed.
jammed.
Oh, they're
Yeah.
not appropriately packed. Okay.
She can get more in that bag.
Okay.
I have an aversion of my luggage being too heavy. I got caught out there with this heavy luggage before. I'm like, I can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
That's hilarious.
Oh my gosh. Well, we do have one other guest. So we're going to get into some more questions and tips and tricks. But I want to bring out our third guest which is Chilla. Chilla is also a J for G member. Hi, Chilla.
Hi.
She is the founder and lead travel advisor for Global Voyages. So, Chilla, please introduce yourself.
Yes. Hi, everyone. I'm Chila Dali. I live in Chicago now, but originally I am from Romania. And to make it even more complicated, I'm Hungarian from Romania. And that's why my name is so hard to pronounce. If you see it written, everybody calls me Sila, Kasila, everything but Chila. But so I've been a travel consultant for 18 years, back when Jennifer, you could not have scoured the internet to book your travels. And I've owned my business for 13 of it. I came to the US when I was 20, and I literally just fell into the industry. I used to live in North Carolina, and I was going to college there, and I was a waitress before and after school, and it just happened that the North American sales rep of Lufthansa was sitting at my table, and practically before her dinner was over, she offered me a job at a travel agency in Miami. So that's how I started.
Okay, that's awesome.
So Chilla,
go ahead.
before you get started, you got to clear it up for Jen. Do travel agents always upcharge?
No. No. Travel agents don't always upcharge. However, The tendency nowadays is that we do have consultation fees, but the cost of the consultation fees completely offsets the value that you get in the package. Not to mention, it saves you tons and tons of time.
Right. So, I mean, that I think we can clear up some other questions that people have regarding travel agents, and some of us need a little bit more hand holding. So, what does Global Voyages specialize in?
Sure. I want to go back just a little bit to the previous question about charging and upcharging. I just want to kind of clarify something that is obvious but may not be that obvious. Basically, when you book anything online, any website, anything like that, you're already paying a commission, because I guarantee you that any price that you see includes some kind of commission to someone. You're just not getting the service for the commission that you're paying within the
Mm,
package that you're choosing.
okay.
Um, yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to say about that. And what we do for people, the way that we work and the way that most travel agents work is basically we get to know our client, we get to know our customer, we ask a lot of questions about your preferences, random things of what you like and what you don't like, just for us to understand your travel style and the things that you would be interested in. And then we pretty much put together a package based on that. Um, just a fun fact: the average traveler spends at least 6 hours searching and researching destinations, options, and at the end of it, they come to us because they don't trust what they read, or they're overwhelmed of the amount of information that's out there. So having someone who does this for a living, has the connections, has the suppliers, has the knowledge, it is of value to them. Basically, instead of us sending you a million different options to see what you might or might not be interested in, we tailor that to your specific needs and budget, anything that you want, and then you can just choose and save your time in looking at just those type of offers instead of looking at everything. And what I found throughout the years is that a lot of times travelers don't ask specific questions because they don't know what they don't know. So a lot of times we bring that, we point to things that may seem irrelevant to you, but it comes handy if you know about them. Also online, I mean, I search, I do, whenever I research anything for a traveler, first of all, I use my network and my preferred suppliers and all sorts of things. But then I also look online because I want to see what my client is seeing. So I want to know how to address some of those things that, she could be asking me, because that's what's online. And more often than not, online you see whatever the supplier wants you to see. If you go on Expedia or any of those websites, nothing is tailored to you. You find a deal because that's the deal they want you to find. Where what we do is we again tailor everything. And most of our clients are not necessarily clients that think they need handholding, and we don't handhold everybody. We collaborate with them. So a lot of them like to plan their own trips, and they don't like to give up control. They just learn to, trust us, trust our judgment. And if you're a repeat customer, I can almost guarantee that after a couple of times, I anticipate your needs. So your time spent online, even if you love searching and booking for your trips, is going to be specifically focused to certain elements instead of starting from scratch.
What type of clients are you getting? Who is it? Families? Is it first-time solo travelers? Like, who is your most popular?
Yes. So I myself specialize in romance travel and family vacations.
Oh,
So I get a lot of those. I
lovely.
get tons of honeymoons and couples getaways.
Okay.
And then I also get a lot of clients with kids or multi-generational. I myself have two little girls, and I travel a lot with them, so they see that online. They always come
Okay.
asking what would be the best thing, what are the best tips with traveling with toddlers. And on top of that, I also do specialty groups. So just giving you an example, health and wellness retreats sometimes we do, or bachelorette getaways, moms getaways are very popular.
Okay.
I don't book a lot of solo travelers. I maybe a handful of those. And solo travelers, yes, they typically love doing their thing by themselves and online. But the ones that are coming to me, what I provide them with, safety is a big concern, right? Everybody discussed that. So in destinations like Africa, or in some of the more questionable destinations where they don't feel like they can go alone, or they might not be comfortable going alone, we have our preferred suppliers that we have already vetted, that we trust. And some of the reasons why we are using them versus hiring random people from online, it's threefold. So first of all, I want to make sure that I can charge my client in the US, in US dollars, because
Mm.
your credit card protects you easier if the charge is made in the US. You can dispute charges, you have other benefits. Secondly, when I book someone using that supplier had to have been vetted by some of the consortiums and the American Society of Travel Agents that I belong to. So I know that if something happens, if I cannot solve it directly with that particular supplier, I can go above that and I can reach out to the American Society of Travel Agents and they can intervene in my behalf and on the behalf of my client. And then lastly, I like to work with companies and local companies that have more connections. So, for example, a small one that might have a driver, one single driver, if something happens to that driver, you're out of luck. So, I want to make sure that whoever I work with, if unforeseen circumstances happen, I have a backup plan where I can, make sure that your travel doesn't stop.
That's great. So you are available, like when someone is traveling, can they reach out to you anytime there's an issue, or you're
Yes.
trying to be
So,
protected?
well, my clients actually think that I'm never sleeping, which if you ask my 1.5-year-old, I never am.
Yeah.
But yes, so most of my clients, while they are traveling, they have my cell phone number and we communicate via WhatsApp. I also usually upload all their travel confirmations into an app that they download for free and they can message me through that app. And basically, whenever they travel, I organize everything that they have booked in that one single place, and they can click on that day by day and check what they have to do when, how. So I make it very simple. But beyond myself, making myself available, because I travel a lot too, I also have a team of travel agents behind me. So if I'm not in the office, somebody else is. However, almost any trip that we book with the suppliers that we work with, we have a local emergency contact numbers. So if there's an issue with the time zone or connection, internet, anything like that, that they can't reach us, they can always reach someone in destination.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's very cool.
I love to travel. Travel is my thing. So I've traveled a lot. I used to do like Jen and Wanda and just kind of do my own trips. And then in the last 4 years, I started using travel agents because one of my best trips was my 40th birthday. And the travel agent booked an amazing home with a staff, and it was something that I might not have found myself. And then what I have found, especially when putting in group trips, like groups like our Just for Girlfriends, is exactly what Chilla just said, the ability to reach out and talk to someone immediately. So last year we went to, and I think those of you on the phone who went on this trip probably don't even know this. We went to Napa. We had a travel agent who had put all that together. We were in the car from the airport, and I was sitting there and I thought it would be nice to do a champagne toast when we get there. And I texted him, need a champagne toast when we get there. By the time our car got us to the hotel, he had already coordinated with the hotel to do a whole champagne. So that whole intro
It
that
was
we had when we
nice.
first got
Yeah.
there, I scheduled that with the agent on the way.
Yeah.
That was just the idea that I just came out my mind. And
Yeah.
then he just was like, okay, let me get it together. So I do find it to be travel agents to be helpful because they also do have the relationship. So they're helping
Absolutely. And
you with
because of those relationships, often our pricing is actually better than what you would be able to find independently. I mean, it's not always the case. I'm not going to, put it out there that we're always better priced or cheaper or anything like that. But we do have contracted rates. And even if the contracts even if the contracts price wise match whatever you find online, or sometimes they might be more expensive, there's a level of flexibility. Like online, a lot of things are non-refundable, whereas with the contracts that we have with our suppliers, they have to have a little bit more flexible terms. So when I look at booking at a trip, I don't always focus, slowly on, okay, let's choose this resort, and this is the best price out there. I look at the situation and the type of travel that I'm dealing with, and I think, okay, well, is it likely that they have anything come up before travel? Then I'm, booking the rate that allows me to make changes for it. And during COVID, especially during COVID, I mean, I cannot tell you, we have had to deal with cancellations and changes every single day. And reaching an airline for the past 2 years, I mean, I don't think that I have spent less than 2 to 3 hours on hold with one single question. And I think that alone is worth working with a travel agent to save you all that time on hold with music.
Saving time for
we
sure.
have a question from the audience. Pam Harris wants to know, is it a good idea to do all-inclusive when you travel?
Look, a few years ago, if you would have asked me this before kids, I'm like, why would you want to go to an all-inclusive resort when there's just so much things out there? You can see the destination, you can meet the people, you can do all of that. But then I had kids and I stopped sleeping and I had to manage work and all of it. And with the little vacation time that we have nowadays, going away to a destination that is convenient, that has exactly what I need for this purpose, I find it a perfectly good idea. I think it depends on your situation and what you're looking for, but every type of travel is adequate for different situations.
Just
So
read.
yes.
Wanda and Jen, what do you think? Do you do all-inclusive when you travel?
It depends. Like if I'm going to Cancun, yes. That's probably so one of those little islands. Yes, but like so for like if a country has delicious food, why would I want to eat the nasty food of some hotel and their watered down alcohol? Perfect example, Tulum. Tulum is full of restaurants. Why on earth would anybody? First off, the first all-inclusive resort is 45 minutes away. So when people tell me they're going to Tulum and they're staying, and I can't remember the name of it,
Dreams.
I shake my head like you're wasting your money. You're not going to Tulum, but you're going to Cancun, but whatever. Jamaica. So I went to Jamaica and I hired. I stayed in like a mansion with a butler and a maid, and the maid was like my grandmother's age, and I sent her a menu. I'm never eating some fake jerk chicken after that. Like, no. So for me, it just depends on where we're going and if it's safe enough for me to be off of the resort. And so if it is, I'm never staying in all inclusive. But Cuba, you don't need all. I mean, it just depends on where you. Costa Rica, no, like no. So
Okay.
if you're going to Mexico,
That's where you get in those travel groups and ask those questions, I guess.
Yeah,
See what
yeah.
people say. Yeah.
I would say I've done something really fun with a friend before. I don't know if you all have ever heard of Inspirato.
Mm-hmm.
That's not.
Yeah.
Yes, I've heard
So
of this.
Inspirato, I traveled with a girlfriend twice, and we rented a home, and we had so this is kind of a little bit of what they all include for me. We had our own chef. They brought us drinks to the pool. We had our own hot tub, and we had the golf carts, and it was on a resort, but that was a great all inclusive because you just roll out the bed and there's breakfast and it's the table set, and then you go to the pool and they want to know, do you want drinks and appetizers? Yes, thank you.
Yes, and thank you.
Yes, and thank you. So
Yeah.
that was pretty much my extent of all inclusive. I do like to, as Jen said, like I want to be immersed in the community. Sometimes I stay at Airbnbs
Me too.
because I like to feel like I'm a local.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I will say we used to do all inclusive with the kids. I'm with Chilla on that. When we had the kids and they want to eat and have chicken nuggets and virgin pina coladas all day, there is no possible.
sense.
I wasn't doing that in my
So Wanda
hotel.
and I are empty nesters, guys.
Yeah, and I am now an empty nester. But when they were younger, even I think we took them on. We took them to Mexico in college, and they were of drinking age. We went to an all inclusive, right? Because it was right. It made sense for us now, right? I can hop on a flight at any point because they're not here, and I do like to be immersed. But I do from kids. we hadn't done it at first, and then then we were like, oh, let's try it, because I was thinking I really don't like that food. We want to go to the neighborhood. When I could sit by the pool and they could grab as many chicken nuggets as they wanted to and didn't bother me,
Got it.
it was fabulous. It was great.
There's
Yeah.
also an aspect of travel that maybe a lot of people that choose all inclusives don't think of, but the positive impact that you have on a destination is far greater if you don't do all inclusive than if you do all inclusive.
Yeah.
Because pretty much, most of the money that you're paying to an all-inclusive resort more than likely is going to the corporation and not the destination. So when you're actually staying off of these resorts and you're dining in their local restaurants and all of it, your positive impact is much, much bigger.
I love that. That
Like
is a great point.
the photo behind me, I can't even move. We got that in Haiti,
Mm,
and that was done by a local artisan. So
that's awesome. Yeah. I love the fact that you want to help benefit the actual economy of where you're going.
Yes.
That's a great point to keep in mind.
And in
Okay, so this is a
places like-
question that I have heard over and over. Whether you're booking it yourself or working in a travel agent, is there a best day or time to book flights?
Yeah, they used to say Tuesdays.
And I would be up all night waiting for Tuesday morning looking at flights.
They used to say Tuesday.
Regarding Tuesday, back in the day when not everything was loaded online and we had to like manually change rates and sheets and like manually calculate fares, Tuesday was the day that all the unsold reservations would get released. So they would go back into inventory. So that made it seem like, yeah, it's a cheaper day to do that. It wasn't cheaper than, if it would have been available the day before, but because some of the last seats were on hold when they got released, it made it look like that.
Trickery.
Nowadays, however, I can't find any logic anymore, to be honest. I've even noticed that not only the time and day of your search, but also what you're searching on makes a difference in pricing. So whether you're searching on mobile or a computer, whether you're on a MacBook or a PC, it can make a difference in the price that you're seeing.
Oh, look, Jennifer's looking now. Now Jennifer like the travel agent advice. Look at you.
They give you cookies too. So I will tell you, if you're searching on your phones, I've been trying to go see my son for Mother's Day. And this has happened to me a couple of times where if I search on my phone for a flight and they know I'm looking, then they'll inflate the price and then I have to clear out the cookies and then the price drop. So that's just something to be cognizant of.
And that is actually one of the biggest mistakes groups do when they're trying to find the best fare, especially when it comes to airfare. Because they either go online and they submit several inquiries or they reach out to several travel agents. So every single one of them is going to submit the exact same group request to the group department of the carrier. What does the airline do? They see there's high demand and they keep raising prices. So more than likely, the first travel agent is going to give you the cheapest price. But if it's not the right travel agent, that price would be maybe less if you had gone to one that has that specializes in that particular destination or has the right contracts with the carrier.
That's great advice too. So clear those cookies and don't keep searching. You're driving up the demand. I love that. That's something that I hadn't practiced. I will definitely try that. One other question. I don't want to hog the conversation. So Angelique, Robin, you guys can jump in there. But as you're traveling, especially internationally, what documents should you keep on you?
Well, in going to Eastern Africa, you need a yellow fever vaccine. So they are very, very strict. So you definitely want your vaccination records with you. In South Africa, I forgot what I needed, but I needed something for South Africa too. And I did forget it, of course. And luckily it was in my email. So any updated vaccine records, especially with the COVID vaccine, you definitely want your vaccine records. And then it's important. So my passport expires next year. So when you take a trip, you have to have 6 months left on your passport in order to travel. So
the 6 months is from your return date, not from your departure date.
So I'm trying to figure out when am I going to be here that I'm willing to give the U.S. government my passport because we know how slow they are.
Yeah.
Um, when
Yeah.
can I relinquish it for a period of time? So you want to make sure that your passport has a nice amount of time on it, and make sure that you have all of your vaccine records. I'm still old school. I still print out like everything before I
Mm.
go,
Oh,
just in case, because you don't know if your data plan is going to work. What if it doesn't?
That's
yeah.
true.
Yeah.
All right, here's a question. And we all gulp when we see it, and we all sit there and say, do I need to get this or not? Travel insurance.
Woo! I hate insurance. Angelique knows I have a real problem with insurance companies, but I'm hovering over that checkbox for a minute. Like,
I,
so what do you think?
I will say I used to not do it, and then when I started purchasing larger packages, I will tell you in COVID, I was so glad that the travel agent I used, she was like, no, you need to get this because it was an all inclusive. It was expensive. It was like 23,000. And had I not booked that when COVID shut everything down, I would have lost all that money. But I got a check in the mail for all of it back because a lot of these places, especially the all inclusives, they have no refund policies.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was really happy that I had
Well,
checked that box.
Angelique, that makes sense. I'm talking about my little 500, 700 vacation.
I will say, as I've gotten older, I go ahead and pay the $20, $30 for it. When I was younger, I just didn't, you just didn't care, or you had some status. I used to have a little status from work. And so it wasn't a problem for the most part. But as I've gotten older, I'm like, let me just pay the $30. Let's just, that's only in the past 3-4 years. That's only before, because I was like, what's going to happen? I'm going on the trip, right? I'm going on the trip, right? What's going to happen?
Pandemic.
Unless there's a pandemic, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so travel insurance does not only cover trip cancellation. And actually, there's travel insurance and then there's a cancellation waiver. Those are two different things. And sometimes that small $20, $30 option, that's just exactly that, like a pre-travel cancellation waiver offered by the supplier. But a good travel insurance policy covers trip cancellation, trip interruption, baggage loss, baggage delay, emergency medical coverage. You can be helicoptered out if something happens to you. If your flight gets canceled and you have to, stay in hotel, stay extra days, it has that. And right now, some of the insurance companies, for example, have a COVID extension for it. So if you buy that upgrade, which with the insurance company that I use, it's only $13 per person. They reimburse you up to $4,000 if you are testing positive and you cannot come back to the United States, for example. Or, medical coverage, even though you think you have, a U.S. medical coverage, when you travel abroad, I can almost guarantee that your deductible is actually more costly than the entire cost of your travel insurance. So you kind of want to think about that.
Yeah.
That's
countries to demand that you now have, like she said, I had to buy a COVID health insurance policy when I went on my New Year's Eve trip in the event that I developed COVID while I was there.
Wow.
I told you they lost my luggage, and I will tell you, getting my money back, it wasn't even worth all the headaches. I never went through the trouble of filling out the paperwork and all of that. But I'm glad I didn't develop COVID, because then I would have,
I want to know, do you guys meet some cool friends and new people out on your travels?
I meet a man everywhere I go. I got a guy boo, a Scottish boo, Zambian.
You know this gets blasted everywhere, Jen. They don't know about each other now.
I hope they watching. Hey, boo.
All right, so you picking up international booze. Okay, I like it. I like it.
I haven't picked up any booze, but I have made friends who are more than willing to help me out whenever I'm on my travels.
That's nice.
That's nice. Great. So you keep in touch with them.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's just nice to have somebody that you've connected with. And, when I was in Barbados, just to kind of go back to a little bit about the what you need, they were very, very strict at the time. When I went to Barbados, it's a small island. They were like not letting you in for anything, and I had to have a test. Even though I had all my vaccines at the time, I had to have a test when I got there. I had to be quarantined for a minute. It's about Jennifer.
Yeah.
But the people that I met at the resort I stayed at, they were the wait staff, and they were just so friendly to me. And there's this big thing they do on Friday nights in Barbados, a fish fry, and they invited me to come along with them.
Nice.
So it's, I mean, I just wouldn't do it with anybody, but I kind of felt, comfortable.
Yeah.
And they made sure I got to my planes on time. So you just be
That's
open.
nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So we don't have that much more time left, and I had planned this segment of Would You Rather, but I think, especially from the audience and what we're discussing,
Yeah,
I just want to continue
I like
answering the questions. So
before you do that, Chilla, can you give everybody your website, because we have a few people looking for some good places that you may
Yes,
be able
absolutely.
to.
It's www.myglobalvoyages.com.
myglobalvoyages.com.
And
We'll put that in the comments so people can click on that if they're interested.
Absolutely.
There we go. Michelle said, "The would you rather?"
Well, we could do a couple of them, or we could keep answering questions. Okay, looks like we're doing Would You Rather. Okay. Okay. This is for all three of our guests. Would you rather swim with dolphins or go shark diving?
Shark diving.
Swim with dolphins.
Dolphins.
Okay.
Dolphins. I'm going dolphins.
Shark diving. You're in a tank, right? You're in a cage.
You're in a
Those-
cage.
Yes,
those
exactly.
dolphins can be angry. Yeah.
You doing shark diving, Robin?
I would do shark dive because I know sharks are scared of dolphins, right? So that's my logic.
Okay.
Yeah. And you're in a cage.
Just to tell a funny story real quick. I was in Hawaii with Robin.
Oh my God.
And we were snorkeling and a big turtle came after her.
A 400-pound, 200-year-old turtle.
And
Yes.
you should have
Yeah.
seen, I would just say Robin killed some coral because you're not going to step
Got
on the
out of
coral.
here, right?
Tore that coral up. Yes, I did.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go with the next one. We got one more minute. We're gonna see how many we can get through in a few minutes. Okay, regarding the sea, do you want to be on it or in it?
In it.
In it for me. Even though I like boating, but I'd rather be in it.
I'd rather be on it.
On it.
On it.
On it. Okay, next.
Ooh.
Okay, if you're going to travel, and these are your two options, would you prefer train or bus?
Train.
Train.
Train, because
Uber.
it's faster. That's what everybody says.
A little faster.
Okay. Next. While you're on vacation, do you prefer a strict schedule or you go with the flow?
Go with
Go with the flow.
Go with the flow.
I prefer go with the flow
I
too.
need a mixture of that.
You need a mixture?
Yeah, I'm in a
Okay, some things you want to have planned, and some things you just like gonna wake up and just step out and see.
right.
We were in Miami, and the guy, he owned some boats. We were renting a yacht, and he said that when he flies to Colombia, all he buys is his plane ticket. He steps off, and he said when he goes on Airbnb, the flight the rates are like 3 times as much as you can get by just going and asking people, like, who got the big Airbnb, and so that's a level of bravery.
Yeah, I-
Yes.
Like,
Yes. Yes.
Kardashian rich. Then,
yeah. Yeah. Okay, next one.
Countryside.
city.
Mix of
It
both.
depends on when I'm with my kids. I want to do countryside because they don't get to see that. But if I'm solo or with my girls, I'm a city. I love the city.
I think the
Both for me.
countryside for me.
Countryside.
Okay.
Window or aisle seat.
Window.
Window.
Window so I can sleep.
I'm always on the aisle.
Aisle.
I'm claustrophobic. I'm like, I can't be all the way in the window. And if anything jump off, I need to be the first.
Plain sleep is the best sleep.
I used to be aisle until I saw a movie where that's the first person to get sucked out when there's a plane incident.
Oh,
So now I'm aisle because I used to be window, and then they always get sucked out the window.
So if you're getting sucked out, you're gonna get sucked out if the plane is open.
I think that whole row is going.
I think you're all gone, right? Like
The whole row is going. Yeah. Okay, next. Do you want to go to a lot of places or keep going back to the same one and get to know it really well?
See
A
you
lot
later.
of places.
A lot of
places.
A lot of
A
places.
lot of places. I'm with that. Okay, one last one, and we're gonna close. Hot or cold?
Hot.
Hot.
I'm hot too because I don't really like clothes that much. Even with these extra rolls, I don't want to put too much over.
All right.
Oh, bungee jumping or scuba diving?
Scuba diving.
Neither.
Neither.
Yeah, I'm a pass.
Pick one.
I'm a watch. I'm a watch.
Mm.
Oh my God. Well, that was fun, ladies. That was a lot of fun. And I really would encourage you all to go to the comments because there's a lot of questions that we did not get to. But this was a great show. I learned a few things that are going to help me when we plan our next vacation. Everyone that is watching, please heart and share this video. There's a few people that need some of these tips, these gems we shared. Please do that. Also, please follow Just for Girlfriends on social media. Visit us on the web. We have members all over the country. If you're interested in joining, it's very clear on the web. There's a join now button, and you can see our handle scrolling along the bottom of the screen. So Real Talk with Just for Girlfriends will be back next month on the first Tuesday in May 3rd to be exact. And we're going to discuss the trials, tribulations, and joy of parenthood.
Oh boy.
We'll see you back.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Y'all have some folks on here
Thank
with
you.
some grown kids so we can tell you what it's like.
Yeah, because I have a teenager in a couple of months, Jen. So I'm listening when you said your son was a teen. Yeah, we're going to be talking a lot. Anyway, guys, have a great day.
Thank you.
Have a great week, everybody.
Great day, everybody.